Hi, and thank you for joining us today. You're listening to Radio Ear Network, and I'm your host, Julie Salant, and this is Motivation Addict on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Hi, everyone. Julie Salant from Motivation Addict. Today, my guest on the show is Pamela Cummins. I know you're going to love this interview. It is different than what I've done before. Pamela Cummins helps her clients and students take their nighttime messages and turn them into daytime wisdom to accelerate their personal and spiritual growth. She is an author of 6 books. She's a dream interpreter and an intuitive coach. To learn more about Pamela and grab your free gift, please visit her website at learnanddreaminterpretation.com and Pamela Cummins, PamelaCummins.com. Pamela is a dream interpreter. Today we talk about dreams, about how she understands them, how she processes them, and the information that they can give us to move forward with clarity in our lives. Hope you enjoy the show, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show Motivation Addict. I am your host, Julie Salant. Today, my guest is Pamela Cummins. I am thrilled to have her on. She helps clients and students take their nighttime messages and turn them into daytime wisdom to accelerate their personal and spiritual growth. She is an author of 6 books, dream interpreter, and intuitive coach. And I will have all her links below. Grab a pen and a paper. I think you're going to love this discussion. Welcome to the show, Pamela.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm very excited to be here today.
I am thrilled to talk with you. I have been speaking with Pamela. She's been on my podcast. We've had some awesome conversations. Can you maybe start them off, and so the listeners have an idea of maybe a little bit more on your background and how you became to be a dream interpreter?
Okay, let me try and give you the nutshell version of it.
Sure.
I'm a talker. It actually came about through my own self-healing back in the early 90s. Early 90s. My dreams, I started remembering my dreams. I used to think that they were nonsense. But as I started working on my personal and spiritual growth, I started seeing the reality in them. And I worked with a therapist to help deal with some childhood issues that she got me through. And before you know it, I was having a lot of precognitive dreams, which mean dreams of the future. And I was seeing the patterns and they made sense. And after a while, my psychic abilities grew. My dreams helped me to heal myself. You know, they say heal thyself. And I was so excited about this and other spiritual tools that I use that I just had to share it with the world. And that's how dream interpretation came into my practice. Just love everything about it.
Wow, that's so cool. And as I said to you earlier, you're the first person I've ever spoken with that's a dream interpreter. I mean, I'll ask just this question because I've always wanted to, and I think the listeners might want to ask this too. Why do we have dreams if a lot of the time we don't remember them? Why is that?
Probably because for those that we do remember, and it's just part of our sleep cycle. It's our REM day, and I don't know the full technical term of that, but we need to dream in order to stay alive. Because if we don't dream, we actually die, even if we don't remember them. And my personal opinion is this is the way that our angels and guides and ancestors have crossed over stay in touch with us, even if we don't remember it. You know, I'm hearing it's like charging a battery.
Okay.
Which is an interesting way of putting it.
No, you know what? It's not for me because for me, I always think of myself as a battery all the time. And I decide, so it makes sense to me. So I'll explain this for the listener. So I always think of my energy level as a battery. If you're an equestrian, what I always recommend is I don't ride if I'm 40% or below, because that's when accidents happen, because you're tired. It's kind of like driving a car when you've only had 3 hours of sleep. You know, you're tired, you're not functioning as well as if obviously you're at 80% or 90% when you've had your sleep. So I always think of myself as a battery, and that's kind of a good way to put it. Um, but when you think about dreams, how can dreams interpretation help your spirituality?
Oh, it helps so much. One of the things that our dreams do, because during the day we're busy or we deny things, and there's nothing wrong with denial. I kind of consider it like a blanket around us. But our dreams really show us the true reality of our life, our true emotions. Like you might be angry at someone, but during the daytime, it might not be appropriate to share it, or you're so angry you can't feel it, or you deny that you're angry. It also shows us issues and problems in life that we have to overcome. And they're really opportunities, although I agree our problems don't always feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gives us solutions of what to do. Now, some of your listeners might be thinking, well, what does this have to do with spiritual growth? Well, our own personal growth and our spiritual growth go hand in hand. Okay. So if you're not dealing with the reality of your life, you can't grow spiritually. One of the things that, as I'm also a psychic, but also as a dream interpreter, I noticed the more that I heal my stuff, the easier it is to hear the messages of the universe and my nighttime messages. And I find this true with my clients. The clearer channel you are, the more you work at your stuff and get rid of that garbage, the more your spirituality grows. Does that make sense to you?
Makes
Julie?
perfect sense to me because I've been dealing with a lot of junk lately that's come up. So that makes perfect sense where you have to kind of go through the process of maybe really feeling things that you don't want to feel and they're coming up to not to hurt you. They're coming up to help you grow and get to the next level. Now, it doesn't always feel good, right, Pamela? I mean, it's not
Oh,
easy.
absolutely. Nobody says, "Oh, give me pain," and and if you're enjoying life and everything's going good, I say enjoy it because something's going to come up to stretch you and help you grow. So,
To get to your next level, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Now, I know from working with you and some of the conversations we've had that one thing that Pamela does that's really cool is she will, if you take a dream and give her the information, she will give you a couple, not just one, maybe three or four different scenarios of what that dream could be. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think the listeners would love to hear how you give that information to the client.
Okay. Well, for one thing, I believe unless they're going through denial, and it's perfectly normal for us to have denial, but I believe that you're your best interpreter. Okay. You'll hear an inner ding when I give one interpretation. However, sometimes dreams have more than one interpretation. It can be several. For instance, precognitive dreams, which are dreams of the future, sometimes your precognitive dreams is going to show you a couple of weeks in advance, and you think, oh, that's what it means. And then before you know it, a month, 6 months, a year later, it has a deeper meaning. So a lot of times dreams have more than one meaning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Let's back up a teeny bit. If you can maybe go over the six type of dreams, just so people have a little bit of an idea what they are, because I didn't realize that there were different types of dreams.
Okay, and there's actually more. So
Okay.
I'll do what comes to me. There's solution dreams that give us solutions for our lives. There's health and body dreams, which help us either prevent illness or help cure illness. There are precognitive dreams, which I mentioned, which give us insights into the future. There are environment dreams, which let us know what's going on in our body. For instance, if you have to, Mother Nature's calling, you might dream about not being able to find a toilet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it also protects us if there's something going on the outside. For instance, a burglar around your house. You might dream about a creepy person and you'll wake up.
Oh,
There
wow.
are, yeah, that has happened. That actually happened to me. There are dreams where you are visited by your loved ones who have crossed over. I know them for
Yes.
recurring dreams.
Yes.
Recurring dreams where it's the same theme over and over again. Nightmares, which nobody likes, but they are pointing out things we need to look at. If you have gone through some kind of trauma, and many people have, it's called PTSD dreams, post-traumatic stress disorder dreams. For instance, vets or somebody who is a victim of crime will have those. I know I'm forgetting something. I'm trying to think of, past life dreams, whether or not you believe that or not. Relationship dreams, which can use a combination of all those other dreams. There's lucid dreaming, which honestly is not my thing, and I'm not an expert about that. And right now, that's all I can think about. I'm sure I'm missing something, but that's just right off the top of my head.
That's a lot. And I think that a lot of us have had at least a combination of some of these dreams. We've all had nightmares of somebody chasing us. And depending on how advanced you are spiritually or what your belief system is, past lives, I've had those as well. But I think that gives them at least just an understanding of the different type of dreams. So based on that, it seems as though dreams are teachers. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Or show us something. So what happens if we don't pay attention to the dream messages?
Okay. Well, for some people can't remember their dreams, but for those who can't remember their dreams, they usually have one dream that they can't forget. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And what happens if you ignore your dreams and their guidance, just like you ignore your daytime messages that you get and the wisdom, okay, that you stay stuck, you don't grow. And a lot of times if you stay stuck and you don't grow, quite honestly, you're going to be unhappy because either you're stuck at a job you don't like, or you're in a relationship you're not really happy with, or whatever your circumstances is. You don't grow, which is sad.
And it's very common, though. It's very, very common.
Well, we know what we know, and we're comfortable with it. And change is scary because I don't care how many psychics you go to, okay?
Yeah.
No one can exactly pinpoint your future because you have free will. So it's scary. But see, I know that it's scarier not to grow because I've gone through the tunnel with, self-growth and expanding my spirituality. And I know that once you go through all that yucky, opening up the cans of worm, whatever you want to call it, when you're through the other side, life is so much better. You have peace, you have serenity, because you're not holding on to all that garbage and you're not staying stuck.
Right.
You're no longer stagnant.
Right, right. And we were talking so much about letting things go and allowing instead of holding on to things that some of it's not even your junk, there's somebody else's junk. So it's always a good idea because it's only going to hurt you. And it took me a long time to realize that. Because that was probably my ego, and I was thinking, this is just the way I am. I have to hold on to things. I don't forgive people. And then I realized it's just hurting me. It's not hurting them at all. They don't even know half the time. But I think a lot of times, to your point, we stay stuck in, let's just say professionally, somewhere where we don't feel that we're using our gifts because we are comfortable there. And on paper, it may look amazing. I mean, it may look great, but inside, that's when you might be getting dreams of, well, what would that look like? You tell me. If I was uncomfortable at my job and I was unhappy, what dreams might I get? What might show up for me?
You might actually see let's say you have an office job, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You might see yourself crying at a desk or fighting with your boss or dropping everything and making constant mistakes and wanting to leave. Or you might have a vision of you doing something completely different and you're happy and you're joyful, and then the people around you are wonderful and supportive.